we haven't started playing.
Sweet Home Alabama, play it! You guys shred!
Welcome to You Guys Shred. When you rock so hard you slice your fingers open, you throw an onion into the crowd, and the only hotel in town ghosts you. I am your host, Keaton Stewart.
I'm your co-host, Tyler Christensen.
If you guys like what we're doing, you can go ahead and subscribe, share, and review. It means the world to us and really helps us out. You can find our own musical project, Poet Bones, on all your preferred streaming platforms, as well as our merch at poetbones.com. Today's guest is a sweet, kind, and wonderfully talented human being. He's the lead singer and guitarist of Sunsleeper. You can listen to their new album, While You Can, everywhere, including blue and orange vinyl pressings. Please enjoy Jeffery Mudgett of Sunsleeper. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Of course.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure being here.
Pleasure's all around. I mean, we like to start with how we know the guests, and recently met you, obviously, at the Kilby show, and then I saw you guys again at Urban Lounge. I wasn't able to see you at the first Kilby show because I ended up leaving to go see Dad Bod and the Melons as well. But luckily I got to catch you at the World's Worst album release. That was super cool.
Heck yeah, that was a wild one.
Yeah, dude, it was a good show. I mean, my wife and I were just discussing it the other day, and she apparently has never seen anybody actually throw their gear down or anything. I was like, what are you talking about? My old metalcore band played with Let Live 3 or 4 times.
Wow. And
they tear shit up.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, what are you talking about? How do you not remember that? And it was so long ago she didn't remember, but she was saying it was so funny. She was like, oh my God. Because you throwing their guitars. Because not only that, then throwing it into the drums, she's oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just making me laugh so hard. But it's that's what's so cool, evoking emotion, and it's the punctuation mark at the end of a set. Isn't that what Dave Grohl and Kurt Cobain and them would say?
Sounds right.
They're like, if our set was going bad, we knew all we had to do was smash our shit, and then it would end good. He's like, you're frustrated playing something wrong, just smash your guitar, and the show's amazing.
100%. Dude, so I did a fill-in gig with All Get Out. I did touring guitar for them on their last tour.
When was that?
Last year.
Okay, for the yeah.
And they're opening for Matt Mason, so it's kind of a bigger pop tour.
Yeah. And
pretty much the end of every single set, all of us, or at least one of us, was throwing our guitar down, and it was kind of a fail-safe way of everyone's there to see it pop, and then you throw your guitar, and everyone's like, okay, that was cool, and Nate was literally fixing and had to redo the neck and do throughout the entire tour.
That's actually I forgot that actually the first time I saw you guys, because obviously we have our mutual friend Tim Burton that did some of your guys' earlier videos.
Yeah.
But I saw you guys play with All Get Out at the Metro, because I have mutual friends as well that are friends with Nathan Hussey, and you guys were playing. Mm-hmm. And then when they got up to play, he had problems with his pedal board or something.
Yeah.
But, that's the first time I actually saw you guys. Was that
throws his stuff so much, his equipment tends to have problems.
Yeah, dude, those. Yeah, I want to know. I mean, we can get to how you ended up working with him, because I met them back when him and Aaron were doing their solo tours together. Mm-hmm. That's when I met them, because I guess sidebar, the van I have is my old band's van, and they used it to do that tour.
Oh, cool.
So it probably still stinks of Aaron's farts or whatever. I don't know. You tell me. But how did that come about? You working with them, because he produced your EP and then the first record, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was just a big fan. Loved that band. I actually got into them before the season came out.
Oh, wow.
They had a song called Burn Hot the Records on Bandcamp, and I was just losing my mind over it. And then they announced that they were going to be on that Wildlife tour.
Right.
And I was super hyped. Went to that, blown away. Historically, the guy I went to the show with, I used to be in a band with, Nate, in the middle of Don't Let Me Go, steps away from the mic and starts screaming and grabbed my friend on the head and was just squeezing his hair, and I'm like, I want to be a part of whatever this guy's doing. So after that show, my old band opened for All Get Out at Shred Shed.
Wait, so I guess to further go back, we were talking at one of the shows that you had a metalcore band that also played with my old metalcore band. Was it that band?
No, that one.
So it was the band after that.
Yeah. So that the guitarist and songwriter for that metalcore band ended up being my next band called Captives drummer.
Oh, okay.
And then my buddy Trevor from high school. It's just basically high school friends.
Right. You said yeah. That's how it always goes, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that band, Captives, opened for All Get Out, Shred Shed. All Get Out was like on an Ann Berlin tour.
Oh, dude,
And
OG, Shred Shed. Yeah, dude.
That's where we cut my teeth, yeah.
So you guys opened for Ann Berlin and All Get Out?
No. So they had a little, like a week or two off in between legs, I think.
Okay.
And they had a friend, I can't remember, Kenny, I think, out of the studio or something to that effect. So they just stayed in Salt Lake and demoed. And then they had like one or two, like, All Get Out headline shows before they got back on tour.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. And so I hopped on, and historically it was ridiculous. Like I broke my strap and 2 strings during our 5-song set.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah.
Your strap?
Strap literally
like
on the intro song. Like I went like this and the fabric snapped.
Oh, but see, I was like, I've definitely had the bit that connects it, like the strap locks or something come off and then it drops down. That's why people have it like taped on the guitar. But
That's what
fabric, I've never heard of anybody's fabric tearing.
I was just so excited.
Dude, I tore that off.
And in the middle of the set, like
what did you do? Do you have another strap?
So Nate just being like, I hadn't spoken to him before the set, but Nate just being the coolest guy. Like I break my strap, like between songs, he walks up and just hands me his Telecaster. So I play his Telecaster and he's changing my strap, gives it back. I break a string on the next song. He switches it back.
So
and
historically,
he's
your guitar tech.
Yeah, dude, I was just blown away. Like my favorite band.
You're like, get out. All Get Out.
Dude, it was so punk rock.
Forgive me for that joke. Dude, that's so cool though, because especially for you too, you hadn't met him before, and then you're like, I love this dude already, and then having that further already, being like, dude, this dude is the coolest guy I've ever met. Like,
so sick.
And he is too. He's so nice.
He really is. He's a salt of the earth man, you know. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like even if they became the biggest band ever, he'd still just be like soft spoken, humble, and unhinged, you know. A little unhinged. He's one of my favorite people. But yeah, that's how we met. And so I still kind of was shy after the set, but our bassist was a chatterbox, and he talked to Nate and
Jacob
at my old band. So that was Tyler Colburn. And so Nate, being Nate, always trying to, you know, make a connection. He's like, here's my card. And he like wrote his email on it, like if you need like work or something. And so after my old band broke up, I had that card, and I was like, I'm just gonna email him, see if he wants to like produce, mix, or engineer like my new project, even though I hadn't even started it yet. Like before I even came up with Sunsleeper.
Did you have any songs before Sunsleeper?
I'd been writing for that old band, but none of that material.
None of
really
that transferred over to the first EP.
My old stuff that I was writing was more post-hardcore,
right?
And then with Sunsleeper specifically, we wanted to find a sound that I didn't want to play something I'd played before. And so I was very open to sonic influences and just building a sound with whoever I was collaborating with. And also didn't necessarily want to have a band with a bunch of my like high school best friends. I kind of wanted people I didn't really know, and I just liked their music. And so that's how it came about. I had like one friend that filled in for Captives that I wasn't like a high school friend. He was someone from Salt Lake. His name was Tyler Blackburn. He was in Eons and Wearing Thin. So he did drums on a Captives tour. And then after Captives broke up, I was like, hey, do you have any like Salt Lake friends? Like, let's make a band. And through him, kind of pieced together a ragtag bunch of people. And we went through so many sounds. Like, we didn't have songs or a band name or anything for like a year.
Just jamming.
Okay. Started off like Super Heaven, and then kind of turned into like Midwest emo, whatever, like 90s indie, like.
But just not forcing it. Just keep trying to figure out what the sound is throughout that year.
Organically, Interesting. And
That's
it was really cool. It was a fun and kind of necessary moment for me, just to have a moment of pause between that last band. Because, I mean, everything feels more grandiose in the moment. But, like, I was like, I don't know if I want to do music again after that. You know, like, I was like, what, maybe 23 or 4. And I was like, I'm too old. Like, I can't do this anymore, you know. But, took that year and, fell back in love with the process. And, like, again, just experimenting in different ways. And
so for that first, if you're, I guess, so you hit up Nate to do the thing. You don't have any songs yet.
Right.
You don't even. So what's the process between that year of finding your sound and then finally working with him? Because you went in with Andrew, right?
Right. Yeah. So
To record.
I emailed him preemptively before we had anything, like, yo, I'm definitely gonna have another band, and like just wanted to see if you'd be interested in
If you
being
wanna
a
be my
part
guitar
of
tech.
it. Yeah, exactly. I know you got the skills.
Look, man, I know you're out of work. Your band's no good. Band's so good.
Dude, so good. But yeah, he was super nice, and he's like, yeah, just keep me in the loop, send me demos or whatever. And so that kind of lit another fire under us. I'm like, yo, Nate's involved, or like would be down to be involved. At the time, I think only one of the other members knew I'll Get Out, and so the other two guys were like, whatever you want to do. And I'm like, no, this is sick. So we kept writing, ended up doing demos with Andrew, live demos, just to have the songs kind of fleshed out in a way that I could show Nate.
Yeah.
And
You're not just sending him like your phone recordings or something.
Right.
Yeah,
I was like, this is Nathan Hussey, dude. He's got to hear the best demos. So
these are guitar tech.
yeah. Well, and it's kind of cool because I had no idea that he was mutual with Andrew at the time, or like new to Andrew. So we demoed with Andrew and then kind of talked about it.
It's
like,
funny how that worked out, actually, because I knew when he came, I knew him before that, and then when he came back to come and produce that record for you guys, Aaron had his studio, Aaron Gillespie, with Andrew.
Right,
they kind of worked together, and my buddy Farrell, who was also in a different band of mine, him and Aaron lived together. So when Nate came, Aaron was off on tour, and Nate stayed with them.
Right.
And I remember seeing his videos, like Nate's just practicing before your guys' session or something, and they had like a loft. And he'd be up in his loft, and he would just shout down to him, "Play the Season!" And he would just start playing it for him, and he'd just zoom in on him and stuff. He's like, how cool is that to have somebody like in your house and then just like a jukebox? Man, play this song.
Right.
Apparently, he also taught him some of the songs too. He's like, I fucking forgot. He probably won't be happy that I said that, but
That's so funny.
we'll see if he listens. We're keeping it in. We're keeping it in. So yeah, it was cool that it was like, oh, so it was Sunsleeper that he was working with, yeah, and then just all ends up being intermingled and everything else, and sounds really, really good. So going from the EP when he came out to making the first record, working with Rude Records, how did that all kind of come about?
So we just kind of DIY toured and self-promoted. I spent a lot of time on the internet during that.
Me too, bud.
Follow people and see if they react. Like I'll admit I did that notoriously, and I mean, diminishing returns, but I had no other way to like. I couldn't be on the road as much as I wanted to. Had a full-time job, bills. At one point in my past, I owned a restaurant for a year, and due to like kind of malicious landlord behavior.
What we were talking before the episode started.
Yes. Relatable, right?
Yes, yeah.
We got like booted out with like a month's notice, and like took an entire like month's cash flow during our slow winter season with us. So like me and my partner, who also was in that old band of mine, Captives, just took that 1 month of cash or debt, and it took like maybe 2 years, 3 years to climb out of like,
damn.
Oh, here's a ton of debt randomly that you weren't expecting, and that was my job, so I didn't have like
Holy shit!
Yeah, it sucked, but so I didn't have the ability to tour as much as I'd wanted to with Sunsleeper right off the bat. So I spent a lot of time on the internet and kind of had a Tumblr moments. Like this is like 2016. Like I was like the tail end of Tumblr. Like I just invested a lot of time in these little niche markets that I used to call it like DIY grassroots marketing. Like totally diminishing returns. Like I'd spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day like trying to interact with people or stimulate interest and sending emails and like
trying to move
get
the ball
like
forward.
2 people interested. But I thought it was so worth it, and I was excited. So I did that, and like you start seeing a couple people showing up on the couple of DIY tours we did. We toured with a band called Step Brothers from Boise, a band called Keys from San Diego, very cool band. I actually toured with them 3 times, once with Captives, once with Wearing Thin, and once with Sunsleeper. Shout out Keys and Kyle. And
this is just all between the EP's out at this point, right?
Yes, it's just this is on the EP. And a few weekenders, did St. George and stuff like that. And I feel like we did more than that. But anyways, I just immediately was writing, immediately talking to Nate, saying, hey, whatever we do next, I'd like to do with you. And it kind of worked out in a very cool way where Nate was preparing to record No Bouquet. He was writing those songs. And Mike Watts at Voodoo Studios was kind of on the table for them to work with for that record. And Nate was interested but wasn't like confirmed yet. And so when I said, okay, we're getting close to like having some songs we want to do, he's like, hey, if I could get you the homie hookup to work at Voodoo with me, then I could like assess the studio and it could be like a win-win. I was like, oh, okay. Like Voodoo, like they worked on like The Deer Hunter and like Glassjaw and like all these incredible records. I'm like, that's a bucket list. So like, yeah, let's go for that. And Nate got us a little discount. It was still incredibly expensive. I don't know if I want to say the dollar amount, but between, at the time, 3 dudes. So we had a little bit of member changes throughout that year.
Yeah, the growing pains of starting a new band. Yeah.
So it's just 3 guys contributing, but we're like, we'll buck up and we'll throw down this money. When's the next time we're gonna have the opportunity to like?
Right. Yeah. Might as well.
So he was able to facilitate that, and we hopped in the studio 2017. So it was like maybe a year later after the EP, and it was crazy. Dom, who's now the drummer of All Get Out. He was just one of the in-house engineers for Voodoo. And so I claim because of that's why Dom and Nate became friends. And when Nate was coming back to do No Bouquet, his touring drummer at the time couldn't do it. And since he had met Dom during our session, he knew that Dom ripped and was like, you want to play drums on the record? And the rest is history.
Yeah, dude, that record's so dope too.
It's so
I mean,
good.
both of them are great. Yeah.
That studio's magic, and like anything Nate's on is going to be good. And Dom's an incredible engineer. But yeah, that studio was just a lot of fun. We stayed there too. There's like a little nook that had stairs that goes up from the kitchen, and like there's like bunk beds up there. So we just lived there for 3 weeks in Port Jefferson.
It out.
Yeah. It was a crazy experience. Again, going from like Andrew's studio was awesome, but it was way more like comfortable.
Homey. Yeah, it's like a house. Yeah.
And like we all were friends with Andrew. We called him back in the day Uncle Andy.
Yeah,
like,
it's not as like a professional setting, or there's not as much weight on your shoulders as well, because you're not paying an arm and a leg. You were in this. But also, maybe that kind of seriousness made you take the record, like it elevated your, like, we need to make sure the performance is great. We need to be up here because this is like, we can't drop the ball.
Not being able to go home too, like after the EP, like go home and sleep in your own bed. But, we were just immersed in it for the entire 3 weeks when we were making You Can Miss Something. And I'm proud of that record. It was, there's things I wish we could have done more with it, but circumstantial.
Really?
Yeah, like...
Dude, I think it sounds perfect.
Thank you, but
that's how you can tell someone, I feel like, is always really good at what they do. Like even U2 or anyone else, they're always like, I could have changed this or should change that. Like that's how you can tell that they're constantly moving forward and being better. And but it's like, nah, it's great for what I like what it is, man.
I'm proud of it. I think the reason I'm so weird about that one specifically is right before we recorded that, we had Matt, who's our guitarist now. He was in the band, but due to life circumstances, needed to take a step back. And that was like a couple weeks before we were recording You Can Miss Something. And so I was planning in my head, like one of the main ways, like when he joined, I already had a bunch of songs for You Can Miss Something written. And so it was kind of like trying to find a way to incorporate his sound into the direction we were already going. Right. And what ended up on the record that was his was like the chorus of No Cure and like structure ideas. But mostly what I was expecting to happen was he was going to write all the leads, make it his own, and then, go from there.
Right. So you'd be 2-3 weeks before, you hadn't had written any leads.
Zero leads. So I wrote them all in the studio.
Well, they sound great.
Yeah. I wish we could have had more. I love Matt's songwriting. I know he would have written some rippers on it. All of my leads sound like kind of the same. It's at the time, like open tuning, emo, kind of like free throw, American football kind of stuff. But Matt's more like that rock and roll solo. Like, I don't know. I would have loved to see what he did with it, but
I think they're great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's cool that I never would have picked that out. Like, it's funny that you say that you learned the backstories behind things and whatever, because it's like, I didn't even think that.
Yeah,
like I had no idea. Yeah, it sounds great. What are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun challenge. But when like all that much money and like time and effort's like on the line, and like, truthfully, when your members are leaving and like you're trying to stay motivated and momentum, like it felt like make or break. Like I don't want to drop the ball for this band. because I couldn't rise to the occasion. Because I really, at that time, was pretty much the songwriter. Again, because Matt left, and, you know, it just, Eli was a little bit of songwriter. He wrote the bridge to No Cure. No Cure was kind of that mostly collaborative song. But other than that, I was writing most of the structures and things like that. And so, like, when it comes out and if people don't like it, I'm going to just put that burden on me. Not that that's what it's about, but I'm just like, I don't want the other guys to be like, dude, we just, you know, blew our savings on this record. And why didn't you write better songs? But I think it worked out, and we got to do a lot of cool things on that record. So yeah, about Rude. Sorry, I'm kind of I tangent down rabbit holes.
Yeah,
but
it's leave it. Yeah, it's all good.
So we recorded that, mixed it, mastered it, and then we didn't ever want to be a band that like shopped around. Like that was kind of one of our like I don't know, mottos. I don't know what you call it, but
why though? Like because you thought it was like sellout, or
no? We more so you want someone that's passionate about what you're doing,
right?
So
that
if
makes
you're
more sense.
like,
They come to you,
exactly, and that's not a pretentious thing. Just like if I'm asking someone to help me or be interested, and they're like, we'll see.
Yeah, it
they're
doesn't
obviously
feel
not
good.
going to push it as hard as like I would, you know?
Right.
No one's going to like care about as much as the creator.
Yeah.
So if someone at least sees your potential or is excited about what you're doing and reaches out first, that's a good sign. And so we'd only had a couple of labels reach out. Smart Punk was one of them. Shout out Matt Burns. Very cool guy. But we still were like DIY ethic. And so unless they, you know, again, not just Smart Punk, but a couple other record labels, unless they were offering something other than just kind of like vinyl and distribution, we're like, we can do that ourselves. We did that the last record. We pressed our own vinyl on the EP. But so we were like, let's just self-release, you know? And so we ended up dropping Soften Up and announced that Nate asked us to go on tour. We're going to open up the Home Safe, All Get Out, and Household tour, which was awesome. So it was like be our first non-DIY tour that we didn't have to book ourselves. And so we announced that and dropped Soften Up and the video that Tim Burton made.
Yeah.
So again, all that we did ourselves. And Rude saw that because they are the European equivalent to Equal Vision, kind of.
Okay.
So all the Equal Vision bands in Europe and rest of the world gets distributed through Rude, pretty much.
Right.
So when All Get Out announced that, they saw us and they saw our video, they reached out, and their offer was like pretty cool. It would help us get some of the money back we blew on recording, but not all of it. But we were like, we were going to take that.
Yeah, we were going to take a loss anyways.
So it was cool. We were like, this makes sense. They're very nice Italian folk, heavy accents, always like really fun.
Fucking
we were truthfully hoping like maybe we can go vacation there. Maybe they'll fly us out. But it's yet to happen. But Federico, if you're listening,
hey, you're being
bring
called
us to
out.
Italy.
Europe tour. That needs to happen.
But yeah, they saw that, and we've been working with them since. So it's pretty cool that they had us take the video down to put back up on their YouTube, but kind of unorthodox. Yeah. It was kind of clunky in that sense.
That's kind of common though for like a lot of bands, you know, or they'll like erase all your previous work and then
we fought hard not to have that happen on like EP stuff. We self-released that, and up until like a couple months ago, it was just completely ours, but we just recently licensed it to Rude for publishing purposes. So it's temporary, and they're going to pitch it for whatever. And if we get on a radio or on a commercial, that'd be cool. But we just also didn't want to lose our creative integrity and our ownership of it. And so we held on to the masters, and we're not going to do anything with the EP.
Smart.
But as far as the record deal that we have with Rude, they own our full lengths. So, yeah.
No worries. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
One day I'll pull a Taylor Swift maybe and Jeff's version.
Jeff's version. I wanted to say before I lost the thought, like your guys' sound is just so cool. I the only way I can kind of like describe it is like it's Saturday morning music.
Cool.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole vibe of I'm going to wake up in the morning on Saturday. I got no place to go. It's like, you know, I have no expectations. I just get to chill out and just listen to some music. I want to put your guys' stuff on.
Cool.
And it's like so interesting that you have like sonically just very pleasing harmonic kind of, music, but then you have dark and like heavy lyrics over the top, but you're like, oh, this is so good to listen to. But it's like, if you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh no, this is dark.
I feel like it's a pretty good interpretation of me specifically, and maybe some of us in the band. I'm pretty chipper. I feel like most people would think I'm a pretty funny or outgoing guy.
Yeah,
but
of course,
I'm actually quite introverted and introspective. So it's like that out of dichotomy or duality of man. You know? Like,
right. No, that's what's cool about it, is that you have both. Like it's you have the juxtaposition. Like that's what 1975 kind of does too, right? They have you have the poppy stuff.
Love that band.
Yeah, it's cool.
We got to see them in Vegas recently.
I was gonna say, we were talking before where we were like, at the world's worst, you're like, I love all things 90s, and your influences are like Brand New and Taking Back Sunday, or at least back then. But I definitely get like what's his name, Gavin Rosdale, the dude from Bush. Like I get that kind of vibe,
I'll take
like,
it.
Yeah, like he's like super magnetic singer, but he's also like can act and do different stuff too.
Yeah, that
but
guy's
like the vocal
attractive
range
man.
Yeah. No, that's like you're the new.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Where was I going with that?
Yeah, I do pull a lot of different influences. Definitely started on that Brand New, Taking Back Sunday, American football, kind of like anything emo adjacent was kind of our identity with the EP. And then at least with the first LP, kind of moved more towards our initial influences. Influences is the way I always say it. So it's like I start with Brand New, and then the next record was more Archers of Loaf,
so
Built to
Brand
Spill.
New being like the EP?
Yeah.
Because you can tell like on the EP it's a little heavier. You get a little bit of like that. And then when you get into You Can't Miss, or You Can Miss Something. It still has the... I've had to describe to a couple people your guys' sound, and it's like they're like so easy to listen to, but yet they still like they get heavy. Like but it's not like in a, how some bands get so heavy. You're like, okay, I get it. I need to cover my ears. It's like no, it's like the right amount.
Thank you.
Yeah, just ebbs and flows.
We love dynamic. We're
dynamic. That's the word. That's the word.
That Nirvana, Pixies, school of rock pop songs.
Dude. Yeah, so cool.
That's our jam. But
it sounds great.
My favorite bands do that, so it just naturally kind of just comes out.
It works.
Product of our influences. Yeah. And Archers of Loaf, 100% influenced that first LP, probably more than you would expect or hear, but if you haven't listened to them, highly recommend. 90s kind of noisy indie rock, kind of during that wave of rebellious indie rockers where I feel like grunge and rock and roll was moving into the mainstream because obviously Nirvana and everyone's trying to make a bunch of money off of it, and there's like a group of rock people that were like, we don't want anything to do with mainstream. We don't, like at one point I think Madonna wanted to sign Archers of Loaf, and they're like, no thanks. Like,
wow, yeah, because everyone was going on that money train.
Yeah,
I think I was watching some documentaries on that, and they're like, if you were just a band in Seattle at that time when Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all those bands popped, you were getting signed just because everyone was after the money grab.
Yep.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but that's cool.
Yeah, so check them out, 100. If you haven't, Archers of Loaf.
I will have to.
Hell yeah.
So going from like writing the EP, the first record, doing it, all the leads yourself, not having Matt, how has your writing process changed then from the new album here?
Quite a bit different because circumstances, obviously we had like a lineup, Matt and Jake have like official, Cody official, like songwriting contributors, and on top of that, pandemic hit. And so
you keep you're like, damn it, everything.
Yes, always something, I honestly, up until maybe the last 3 months, I feel like Sunsleeper has just been like, it's a joke within my home. Meg and I are just like, there's so much trauma. Why do I keep doing this? But I'm like, but it's fun now. It's like finally feeling like I can take a breath and go, oh, playing shows is fun. Like I do like the music we wrote. I don't know, maybe like forced pause, time away from it, lineup changes, just reevaluating my life and being, growing as just an individual outside of music. I've been able to look back and go, we did a good job. I don't have to hate stuff just because I did it. Like I like our EP, I like our LP, and the LP2 was really pivotal for us because it was, again, getting everyone involved in the writing and trying to figure out how to write completely remotely. We wrote
Oh, right,
probably a
'cause of
lot.
pandemic, so-
Yeah, like we were on the road going to to tour with a Will Away, and then we had to turn back around. Like we were on the road when like the NBA got shut down, and like
Oh,
and all
man.
of a sudden
where like in the country were you?
South Dakota. So we were like heading over. I can't remember where the tour was going to start. I think Chicago, but we were like doing our like routing tour
Yeah,
out there.
connecting to get up
Yeah.
there.
Shout out South Dakota.
Did you make any dates before it got canceled?
So we played Denver and South Dakota, and that was it.
At least you got some in there. Yeah.
We had just bought a trailer. So
Oh,
up until that point, we had
no.
never toured.
You
So-
poor fuck, dude. You're literally what this podcast is
Yep.
about. Dude.
Circumstances were not
Son
good.
of, did you have to sell the trailer?
We just hunkered down, and
Oh, that's
we
good.
we made it happen.
So, since you are no stranger to the road and you've been out a bunch of times and you've done the DIY tours, you got some funny stories from the road, I imagine.
Oh.
I mean, you have those cool videos. I mean,
Yeah.
I love your guys' music videos. You have really cool
Thanks.
videos. And then you also have a couple, like, tour-related videos as well.
We get bonky with it. I feel like
We have a good time. We're jumping over
most
things.
of the time we're having a pretty good time.
Is that what's going to be on your tombstone? Most of the time, we're having a pretty good time. That's a new record, LP3.
That honestly, if like weed emo was like popping off, like Mom Jeans 2014, that would be
Yes.
a great album
Yep.
title, or
Yep.
even band name. I don't know.
So, formerly known as Sunsleeper.
Hey there, Shredheads. We're just taking a little break to let you know that we got merch. And I'm not just talking about any kind of merch. I'm talking about the merch that you wear and you wear it around town. Onlyvans.com. We got merch, merch.com. It's not merch.com, but it's something bonfire, you guys shred merch, you know. It's like a walking billboard, but it's you. And it's really cool because you're supporting us and you look cool. You know, you got a van on fire and that's what you're wearing. Onlyvans.com. But we also got big things coming soon. And with the big things coming soon, you can let everybody know that your band's got big things coming soon, you know. It's important that everyone knows at all times that you're out there, you're wearing it, and big things are coming soon. So go ahead and buy that. Buy our shit. Thanks.
What comes to mind recently is just like the last one, so it's All Get Out. But
Yeah.
All Get Out, we got bonky on that tour.
You don't think the other ones had like
It was just when it comes to-
vehicles breaking or
Oh
anything
my
like?
gosh.
I mean, you're already telling me all that stuff.
There's
That's
a lot
the-
of sad Sunsleeper ones. We drove off the road.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
Yeah.
what happened there? Was that ice?
Yeah, snowstorm, icy roads. Basically,
There's a lot of sad ones.
Where-
Fuck.
that was another tour meeting up with a Will Away. So we did a full tour with them. The second tour we were supposed to do didn't end up happening, but
But that was out of your control. Right?
Yeah,
It's not like
that
it was
was
your
pandemic.
fault,
Right.
at least.
but we were on the beginning of that tour. We heard there was a snowstorm coming in. I said, let's wait to the next morning to see what was affected so we can make it to Denver and take the right route to Denver.
Assess the situation.
One of the members didn't want to do that. They wanted to get like 3 hours out of the way. And so we just chose one of the routes and drove part of the way. Woke up the next morning and the route that
like
we were
through
on.
like Grand Junction.
I'm terrible with directions.
Okay, no,
I
you're
just
good.
know that
You just
whatever
went the way-
direction we were going, we should have went the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Because we woke up stuck and there was no way for us to get to Denver. So we're like, let's cancel Denver. Like, we'll just say we can't make it. And then maybe we take a different route and try and make it to Lincoln, Nebraska in time for the next show. So we start taking, like, highways were getting closed down because they were so sketchy. And we were taking like sketchier side roads to still make some progress towards.
Dude.
Yeah, and so we
Tour
drove
life.
like 12 hours. Like it was like 2 a.m. and we came to a town and there's 2 hotels and we're like, let's just stop for the night. And we called one of them and they're like, we have a room. And I was like, okay, we'll call you back in just a minute. So we got the rate and then we called the other one to see what the rate would be because we're broke.
Yeah,
like, let's
come
see
on.
what it would
We're
be.
eating top ramen
Yeah.
with Taco Bell sauce.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And the other place didn't answer, so we're like, all right, we'll go with the other one. We called them back, they won't answer. And so we go to that hotel, and we're like ringing the bell. No one's there. I'm like, we literally just talked to
Like
someone.
Bates Motel?
Yeah, it was.
Dude.
And I'm like, I'm not sleeping outside.
Was it a sketchy looking town?
It's a tiny little town, you know. And
You're like, we're gonna get murdered.
dude, well, one of
Scooby Doo,
the
dude. It
one
sounds
that-
like a Scooby Doo episode. You're stuck.
One of the second hotel we called was actually a haunted, like it literally was being like sold as haunted.
Yeah,
that's why we're like, let's
how
go
the
that
guests
one.
stop.
But no one answered, and I was like, I don't want to sleep in the van in this tiny town, so I'll just keep driving. I'm not that tired, and so I'm sketchy road, whatever. Visibility's getting pretty bad. Can't see too far in front of me. I'm not driving that fast, but I probably like 30 miles an hour, 40, maybe 40.
But is it like snowstorming like Star Wars? Like
Yeah, it looks pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
And then a semi comes on the other side of the road and throws a bunch of snow on our windshield, right? And so I'm just trying to get visibility. And then after finally getting the snow off, I'm like, oh, there's a stop sign up there. And it's like within eye distance. And I'm like, oh. So I just barely touch on the brake immediately. Start fishtailing. And I go, I was like, we're going off the road, so I'm just going to try and make it as the easiest entry
If I'm
into
gonna
the
crash, I'm
snowbank.
gonna try to crash the best I can.
So I took us in, and we were fine. Like, no damage to the van, but we were stuck in like and we came unprepared. Like, historically I have this like literally 200-pound like emergency box that I take on tours. Like, it's got several like car
now
jacks.
because of this?
Before that, but we didn't take it on that tour.
Jim!
Dude, so
what?
I'm using my hands trying to like get the
Why
snow.
did you not choose it? Is it space?
I'd get trolled for
The
it.
one
like,
time you
because it's
needed
so
it? Oh,
heavy,
that
like
sucks.
having
Like,
to
I
move
told
it
you
around in the
fuckers.
van.
Yeah, but that proves to them.
I
You're
know.
like, you fuckers, you see why?
Should have made them get out and dig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
we
like,
took
this-
turns.
yeah.
We had like one pair of gloves, and so we'd like
No!
I'd use one glove, and then Jacob would have the other one, and we'd be scooping snow and
You
then
didn't
back up.
even
And we made 2 feet of room, but eventually, like a snowplow came and pulled us out, which was awesome. But
Which guitar do you like least?
dude, right? Dude, it was the worst. And then so the next show was Lincoln. We made it, and then the next show was I think in Ohio, and I sprained my ankle during the set.
No.
Before we even reached this tour, and then
Wait, this is the one you guys did Audio Tree Live then?
Yes.
Because you
That
talked
was-
about that.
Oh, it was a nightmare tour. And then after Ohio, first show we played with A Will Away was Brooklyn, and I got a black eye on
What?
stage. Yeah.
Wait, what?
So what? My guitar went out. The venue was just kind of rinky dink, and electricity was going out, amps were going out.
Brooklyn, New York?
Yeah. And my amp went out, and I was like, I'll just, Julian Casablancas this, and like was just holding the mic stand. And I
Like
don't
you
know
are
how
in
to
the
do
one
that.
music video you're doing karaoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. It's so good.
I don't do that normally, so it's very
That's not me,
clunky.
guys. That's a music video.
Hit myself in the eye because I didn't know what I was doing. A huge black eye the rest of tour, dude.
That's a great story, though.
And
So, wait, you got the black eye before or after Audio Tree?
before. So
But
like
you didn't have a black eye in Audio Tree?
you can tell a little bit. I think my wife flew out, and I think we might have put a little makeup on it.
I couldn't tell at all.
Nice. It was probably like 2 weeks before, like between.
Well, I guess it also helps, though. Your haircut kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
I had
haircut.
the Karen cut at the time, and it was.
No, I had the same haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had the same haircut. But that's so funny. I didn't know. I would have never realized.
You could, if you look hard enough, there's a little yellow, but yeah, that was one of my least favorite
yeah,
days.
so when so leading up to that, you're like, I've wanted to do this Audio Tree Live, and then you get there and you're like, this has been such a shitty tour.
The whole tour just destroyed us. And like I've said, I hypothesized that Matt and I may have had COVID before people knew what COVID was. It was 2019. It was November, I think. And we just got belligerently like sick in kind of weird ways.
Oh yeah, because in the thing you say you have a cold
yeah,
or
'cause
something.
I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't know what this is,
well, I mean, the performance was great though. I
Thank
love that
you.
Audio Tree episode.
Thanks. Yeah, I wish my voice was a little better because obviously.
But if you're like,
Yeah.
come on, dude,
So I wanna do it
Your
again.
voice sounds great. Come
Thank
on,
you.
shut up.
Thank you.
The other
We're
funny,
all our worst critics,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Do you find that you're harder on yourself sometimes?
Oh yeah. Now I'm getting over it finally after like
I know
10
what you're
years.
saying. Though.
But
It's, all of us musicians have the same. Yeah, I feel like we all kind of have the same type
Yeah.
of deals. But yeah, that sounds like a crazy tour. So what was cool about the All Get Out tour? I guess it's probably better for you because you're like, okay, I'm not the front man.
I don't have to
I
sing.
don't have to sing. I don't have to worry about like booking, getting us to A to B because you're in charge of.
Right.
You can just like, I'm just gonna be the guitar player.
Yeah.
So it's more fun for
it was
you.
way fun. only stress was playing Kyle's parts. Kyle's an
Yeah, he's a
incredible
great guitar
guitarist, and like
player.
I had to simplify stuff and make it more playable to my brain and my hands. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
we,
that band's so cool. It's cool that you get to be friends with him.
Oh, yeah.
He's your guitar tech.
Yeah,
and-
exactly, dude. Shout out.
But yeah, so that tour, it kicked off on the East Coast? Because obviously...
We did 2 legs, and one started in Ohio. It was like more the east.
Yeah.
And then the second leg started in Portland, and it was more the west. But
So did you fly out to
Yeah.
like meet them out there?
yeah,
Okay.
I flew out to Ohio, and they rented like a venue like during the day, and we just like practiced for like 2 hours.
Oh, that's
and then I
cool.
was like, sick, and the next day we played the venue. But yeah, we did silly things. Like they have the goofiest sense of humor. One of the memes that went like within the van a lot was there's this picture.
You mean Sean?
Yes.
I know the lady. Dude,
Yeah.
I know stuff.
Sean.
I know stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little stinky. Apparently, it had been flooded. The van got like flooded or was in a flooded area, and so Nate had to like bleach it to get all the mold out. And so it's like we're getting high on bleach fumes the whole tour, but it smelled clean. It didn't smell like dirty van dude, so that was cool. But yeah, there's this meme where it says it's like Jesus with his hands out, and it says, "What would you say if God said?" Bite this onions.
Dude,
The
I think there's
stupidest
it's
meme.
so funny.
So
like
stupid.
I think there's so yeah. I think that I think there's like a common thread that you'll always hear between like comedians podcasts and stuff where they're like all comedians want to be musicians and all musicians want to be
Yeah.
comedians, and that's why they melt so well together
Yo.
because we're all same kind of
Yeah.
creative type of
Creative
mind.
brain, a little depressive.
Throughout the performance, I was with my buddy Farrell, and they were just the entire time just like making inside jokes to each other. Like, hi
Yep.
Farrell, hey Farrell,
Yep.
how you doing? Hey,
Dude.
inside baseball.
King of inside jokes, that entire band. They would just be spouting off words, and like James would just start going, like a raven, and everyone goes, ah, and I'm like, what does that mean?
You just burst into it. You're like, what is going on?
But that Jesus meme, like, we
Yeah,
took it
back to the
so
subject,
far,
sorry.
dude. We took it so far. We just kept saying, it was like one of those jokes that you just kept saying, like, in middle of a conversation, talking about something, be like, but bite this onions, And
Yes.
it got to the point where it wasn't funny, and then it got funny again.
Yes,
And
yes,
so,
yes.
Dom was a
My favorite kind of
TM,
jokes.
So he asked the hospitality manager to buy a single onion and didn't tell Nate. So we got
the show.
the onion on the hospitality rider. We set it on Nate's
Oh, that's
set
what
list,
okay,
yeah, and didn't tell him. And so when he came out, he saw it and he was like, "You guys, you bastards, right?" And
I
then-
love that so that means that since you guys put it on the rider, which means it's like your list for
Yeah.
those who don't know, like the list of like, hey, we want some drinks, we want this in our green room. So that person had to go at me like, what the fuck?
A
Why do they
single
want an
onion.
onion? Yeah, someone had to, you made
It's like
someone
White
have to go
Claw,
to
Bud
yeah,
Miller,
yeah.
an onion, and
They're like,
chips.
you know how stupid they would have felt. You want all this shit, they're like one onion.
So I
checking
used to
out that-
hospitality manage, so I thought of that. I'm like, that person was probably so confused.
I hope they didn't go through self-checkout as well. They had to go to somebody and they're like, what the fuck? As they're ringing them out, they have to
random-
like punch in one onion. That's so funny.
It was a big one too. It was-
So no one, so you guys, Nate's not in the green room.
Yeah.
It's sat there. You guys all just like
Grabbed
giggling,
it.
waiting for him to come
we
in.
hit it. We
You
hit it. Yeah, we didn't want him to see it.
Did you draw a face on it?
No, so
No.
we waited to the when Dom sets up the set list on stage, and he just set the onion on the set list. So when Nate comes out to play the show, he sees the onion, and he just like, you bastards. But then being Nate, his banter is
Yeah.
always just asinine, like
Yeah.
just so
I love it.
random, whatever comes to him. And one of that night, he picks up the onion, and goes, anyone want this onion? And then James and I were like, if we give it to you, you have to bite this onion. And so Nate throws it to someone in the audience, and we stop and we're like, you got to bite it. And they literally take a bite out of this onion, and Nate just goes, you sick people. And then he goes into the next song. They throw it back at us during that song. Then I think the song was The Season, dude, okay? And so when the breakdown comes, I pick it up and I throw it in the air in the middle of the breakdown. It was
So
one of the
at
best
At
moments.
this point, when you pick it up, there's a bite mark. in
Yeah.
it.
So you just toss it like straight up?
Straight up. It ends up like sliding down this curtain so it doesn't land on the front of house or like the monitor stage. It was the goofiest thing ever that I've ever done, and people lost their minds for it. Matt Mason's crowd was just like,
layers.
oh, and then I cut my finger up on the next side, just pulling my strings off the guitar.
I was picking the onion back up and it cut me.
Dude, that would, yeah.
Dude, that's so
be one
funny.
for the books.
I love that. Any other stories like that in that tour?
That tour, yes. Second to last night of tour, we tour pranked Matt Mason. Another like random joke, we would just between ourselves, we just start making up names for people and be like Matt Mason, the lady killer, and then it like devolves into like Matt Mason, master of magic.
So for those that haven't, I guess that are non-musician watching that haven't toured, when you're on the road, it's like so much time, and obviously you listen to music, but half the fun is just talking and having fun with your buddies while you're driving. So you come up with the dumbest shit because you got so much time. Like America's so vast.
Yep.
You're just so much in between the Love's gas station and then the next venue or whatever. You come up and you just come up with this dumbest shit. So are you in the van when you guys come up with that?
I think it
You're
started in the van, like Master of Magic. Master
Welcome to the
Magician.
stage, the Master of Magic.
So that was just between us, and then
Don't tell him.
the second to last night of tour, it was Dallas, I think. Yeah,
That's Dallas.
The Office.
Yeah, thanks.
Love The
Yes, he got it. He knows what I'm saying.
Big Office.
You know what I'm saying.
But that show was nuts. It was outdoors, kind of chilly. Big crowd, couple thousand people. I think it was sold out. Again, no one really knows us. We're opening for Matt Mason. And Nate just gets on the mic.
You guys are the main support, though, right?
Only support. Yeah,
Only
they
support,
would have one band. I think in the beginning of the tour they had. I can't remember the guy's name.
I don't think that's fair to say that no one knows you, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, All Get Out's. I got it in my mind that like Sunsleeper, like nobody knows us. But
That's
All
not
Get Out, there was a
true.
few people that knew All Get Out, especially
People
in
know
Texas.
your band too, buddy.
In Salt
Come
Lake,
on.
maybe. But yeah, the Dallas was pretty crazy. Everyone was already pretty drunk in the crowd. Kind of a party area.
Oh, so is it more like the venue bar segment?
Yeah, there was like definitely bars on the side.
That
but
always changes how the audience is going to interact throughout the show.
I think it was just kind of like the area, like the block. There was another venue down the street that Tigers John Glitterer were playing at. It's just kind of this hub of like nightlife, it felt like. So everyone was pretty rowdy and having a good time. And I got a little schwasty before the set. I'm like, we got 2 days left of tour.
Yeah,
like,
time
this
to
is
celebrate.
Dallas. Yeah.
It's Dallas, fucking Dallas,
Dude,
man.
it's Dallas.
That's Dallas.
Dallas.
So you're a little swashity,
Yes.
little swifty.
And as was Nate, and Nate said, "Who's excited for the Master of Magic, Matt Mason?" And everyone goes, "Woo!" And he goes, "When he comes out, you gotta ask him to see a magic trick." And then James was like, "He does it every night. I don't know how he does it, And like we're playing into this, really driving it.
I hope he didn't even hear you guys say that either. He's in the green room. He's like,
The green room was way far away. Then at one point, Dom had a bunch of jackets on because we were outside, and he got
Multiple jackets.
He was like overheating, and so he just walks off stage in between a song, and we don't know what's going on. He's taking off his jackets, and I thought maybe he was puking. I don't know. I was like, we're partying. I don't know what's going on.
You don't know.
But so in that interim, I went up to the mic and
How
I was
many
like,
jackets was he wearing?
probably like a hoodie and a jacket, and he's the drummer.
He's got 3 jackets.
He's sweating, So while we paused in between waiting for him, I'm just trying to kill time, and I was like, I wish I was Matt Mason right now, so I could show you a magic trick, but alas, I am not. So it's like we just really keep jabbing it in.
I wish
so. So we finished our set. It was punk rock. We threw their guitars, whatever.
A couple magic tricks.
Yeah, a couple magic tricks of our own.
Threw an onion.
So then Matt Mason comes out, and like in the middle of his set, the crowd starts chanting "Magic trick, magic trick."
He's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
He literally was like, "What are you saying? Why is everyone asking me to do a magic trick?" And then someone says like, "All out now" or something, and he's like, "All Get Out told you I was a magician." And he just starts losing it. And he's all like, well, here's a magic trick. I just made All Get Out disappear. He's like, they're fucking fired. Dude, that was the best moment. Oh, yeah, it was
We've got
funky.
one show left anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, that's so good. I've never thought about that before, but that is like the best prank to pull on the headliner.
Especially
ever.
if he didn't hear you.
Yes,
you know?
yeah. If they're like, oh, you're not gonna watch my set,
Yeah.
you just start pulling. I'm doing that from now on.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's so funny.
It was good.
Oh my god, magic trick.
Everyone, dude. And then after the tour, people were commenting on his like page, like magic trick, in the comments. It was insane. So cool.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
If you every time you play it with them from now on,
Master magic.
just
Dude.
keep it going. Never let that die.
100%.
That's amazing.
That's the stick.
Yeah,
man.
I hope more people start commenting that.
Nate's doing a solo run with him, so I'm gonna remind him.
Like, dude, please let everyone know. That's so
Spread the good word.
I love that he does it. Like, it'd be funny if he was on the side of stage, like, all right, here, let me play with it. But he didn't even know what was going on.
There's a video of him just like completely flabbergasted, like what?
Why are they
Trying to
shouting
figure
at
it
me?
out. Yeah.
Why are they shouting?
Why is the entire crowd asking me to do a magic trick? It was so good, dude. Highlight of my fill-in life.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a
It
good
was so
time.
good.
Jeez. Oh, man. And
Yeah.
probably a lot of fun playing their tunes,
Oh yeah.
too.
I mean, yeah, growing up and being influenced by a lot of their music, and then
Yeah, you never would have thought you were playing. You would play with them.
Oh, it was so sick. Like,
That's so
and a
cool.
smattering of different stuff. Like, I think it was the first time that Nate played "Angry Men" solo song.
Oh, wow.
And we did it full band.
So,
Also,
yeah, it's-
Overflow. That was the first time he did Overflow full band ever. So it's like just like a cool couple firsts I got to be
Interesting.
part of. Yeah.
Because Kyle's not there, he's like, oh, I can finally pull these out.
Yeah.
Or just like,
I think he was just making it easier on me, honestly, because
Oh.
the solo songs are pretty simple.
yeah, Kyle, they have a cool chemistry together.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to make this whole
incredible.
episode about. Oh,
No,
okay.
you're good. This is just
Speaking of
all good
chemistry,
at
you and
deep
Matt.
dive. Yeah.
You and Matt's voice do sound really cool together.
Yeah, that's kind of a happy accident.
So I guess how did you end up? You said the drummer. You kind of like Did he know Matt?
Yeah, so Matt came to Sunsleeper's first show. I knew of Heartless Breakers.
Yeah.
And I'd been.
Chase was at that show. The
Yeah.
World's Worst. Yeah, I kind
Yeah.
of talked to him. Yeah,
I love
Yeah,
Chase.
Heartless Breakers is such a band.
So
man.
good.
So good.
They played our practice space before Matt was in our practice space. We had some shows.
I know. I know where you. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it for you guys, but I know where you're at. Yeah.
Yeah, back when we would do that before. I was in between Underground, so the Underground 3 had just closed or something, and then we put on a couple shows in our space, and then the Underground 4 opened. We didn't have to do that anymore.
I literally was
But-
just, man, I was just telling my wife because I was like, there used to be a fucking room, or like a venue at downtown
Yeah.
music, and I was having to describe to her. It's like, oh yeah, you remember the like the really new section, but it is also not new any. Like it's gross and like it's so funny.
Yeah, dude.
Everything is like connected.
I love playing the Underground because we would just roll our stuff down the hall, basically.
Yeah. We never played there, but I saw some groups there, and I was one of which is funny because I brought it up based off of her talking about throwing your instruments. I watched a band and they like went to the dollar store and bought like toy dinosaurs and like silly string, and as they're
Yo.
performing, they're like tossing them. It was
That's
just like
tight.
so insane.
Yo.
Yeah, that's so funny.
I've seen some cool shows there. My first show I did with Wearing Thin was Problem Daughter's album before last that they released, and there was so many people at the Underground. Like
Yeah, it's
there
the
was
tiniest room. It's
condensation, like
small.
sweat coming down on top of us.
It's just a room.
It was,
or was
yeah,
a room. Yeah.
exactly. It was nuts.
That's so cool,
Yeah.
dude.
I love
Yeah,
that. I kind of miss
the
that
DIY,
era.
like
Yeah.
Shred Shed and different things.
I miss Shred Shed so much.
I guess we still got Kilby.
We got Kilby. Shout out Jesse.
Yeah.
I miss Jesse so
Yeah.
much from Shred Shed. I wouldn't be here without Jesse, dude. Jesse,
Really?
yeah, like being from Eagle Mountain, not from, but living in Eagle Mountain. Went to Lehigh High School. All like again, high school bands were just
Oh yeah, we
my
kinda talked about
friends,
that,
right?
Yeah.
I kind of had a few hit and misses trying to find places to play. Like I didn't really have a car. Like I was like 16. I had a car, but it like wouldn't get me to Salt Lake, and like so it would be like a big endeavor if we were gonna play a show, and like or even going to shows was hard, right? So it wasn't as accessible to be a part of the community as I wanted to, and there was no scene in Eagle Mountain. So I'm like, all right, let's just start reaching out and seeing if like maybe my band could hop on bills or meet people. And I won't say who, but I like reached out to venue and they're like, we don't know you, like be a part of our community and maybe we'll book you. And I'm like, easier said than done when you're like a 16, 17-year-old.
it's not
like,
easy,
I can't get up there. I have a broken Explorer. Like, I don't know. Like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, this is going to be a lot harder. And I was like, are we going to be a Provo band? But I was like, no, we're going to figure this out. And eventually I hit up, I think, I hit up Shred Shed Page about a show to hop on or something, and Jesse just like open arms was just all like, I showed up for that show and he was just like, oh, I gotta tell you about like Laverkin and like
that's what Shred Shed was about.
Yeah, and like I don't know, just so welcoming and it gave us opportunities. I mean, obviously that's where we played with All Get Out. Epilogues, we played with them. Second
You're
to
able
last.
to start playing. And,
just so many.
So that was
formative-
Captives?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I met people that ended up being in Sunsleeper. We played with Sights, and Jacob, who is our bassist, was in Sights at the time, and now he's in our band, which
That's
is
how
cool.
That works out.
Yeah,
I guess mentioning Jacob, I think we should talk about it just because it's kind of cool. He's an amazing artist.
Yes.
And he just did artwork for Post Malone's Raising Cane's.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Amazing.
Yeah, it had like the cup and everything
Yeah.
it did and taking. It was like, what the hell?
Dude.
It was like and it was also this week.
Yeah.
It was like
the ground opening.
Yeah. So
cool. Yeah,
Interesting.
Jacob's one of my favorite people. And
he's done the artwork for like the T-shirts and like, the
he's
cool-
done a lot of our T-shirts. He'll screen print most all of our T-shirts.
That's so cool. So if you buy one of your shirts, they're handmade.
Yeah.
Hand printed. That's cool.
Yeah. We haven't gone through a supply like a merch maker.
Yeah,
since,
you
like,
guys really love the
2018.
DIY. Yeah.
We keep it in house. Like, I mean, the LP covers. The first LP cover, LP1. I came up with a concept just based off our EP. I bought like the flowers and the backdrop. I asked a specific photographer, and like we went back and forth how to arrange it. And then with the new LP, While You Can, that was like this collaborative sit down with our visual artist Everett Fitch, and talk about what the album makes him feel and what it reminds him of, and how when like we'd kind of line up the correlations of what he would like, oh, it reminds me of 90s and growing up, and I'm like, yes, definitely, that was kind of what we were going for, and like cultivated a visual aspect. And then on the cover, you can't really see, but my wife's on it. Like we were all.
That's
me
the
and
first thing you
Jacob.
pointed out to me. You're like, that's my wife's shit.
She's not the main focus, but she's in the background, and she was on site the whole time. Jacob was on site the whole time, and like we were holding like bug spray like to make the fog.
Oh,
like,
so that's what that. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Fog and Molly.
literally like bug spray fog.
Oh no, that's not good chemicals to breathe in. That's because Evitt did the music videos as well, right?
He did the In the Clouds, yeah.
Okay, just the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. I mean, all of them are great,
Thank
but
you.
those ones too, because they're new.
Yeah.
They're just those are so cool.
Yeah, he did the first one, and then my wife did the second one, Currents.
Which is also great too. Yeah.
And then she did the third one. So she did, Currents and Stay Home.
Okay,
videos.
I didn't know. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Currents is so like relatable. I was watching that again today to refresh.
Yo.
And like.
Our buddy Tyson filmed it,
Yeah.
but my wife directed and
Directed it,
storyboarded it, and like basically was like helping what shots to get and like telling us what to do,
That's
and like
cool.
coordinating, and went back and forth with Jordan from More on God. He did the visual editing and the effects and stuff. So it was like a Megan Mudgett production.
You need
with,
you need to hook up give me the contacts.
Yes,
yeah, because
dude.
it looks great.
More on God.
It's just great, dude.
Jordan, probably top 5 favorite people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Incredible photographer, videographer. He's now doing fill and guitar for Heart Attack Man.
Oh, wow.
He's from St. George originally. He used to play Nevermind.
Dude,
just
it's all
great guy.
connected,
Yeah.
isn't it?
His
Yep.
first show he ever shot was a Sunsleeper show at Music Works, and
It's
now he's
all
like
correlated.
touring and doing photo for like Modern Color. I think. Shout out Jordan. More on
Yeah,
God.
it's awesome when you get to work with homies that are doing cool stuff too. Yeah, I always like that.
100%.
But I kind of want to go back because we also talked about like high school and stuff like that. So when did you start getting into music, and what's kind of like the first memory you remember of like growing up with music? Like, what was the first music that was your music? Was that brand new? And
It's kind of hard to say. I was very.
Oh, I guess
my
Papa
mom was
Roach.
very. Yeah, Papa Roach, number one, biggest influence.
but your mom?
Yeah, my mom was very into music, very musical household. plays piano. She taught recorder. She played tuba, trumpet, trombone. Just always had music
Wow.
on. Like, I was homeschooled, so it was a lot of time spent around whatever she was listening to. She was very into like Peter, Paul and Mary and like some of that
Oh,
folk
wow.
songwriter
Okay.
stuff.
So like the Bob Dylan folk era.
Yes.
Was there records being played at the
Oh,
house? Is
yeah.
that where like your love comes from for
Absolutely,
records?
yeah. She would. I mean, probably the first record I remember hearing would be like Beatles records, like
Yeah.
spinning those, like, and then like I'd learn how to like flip them over and click this button like as a young kid. So
Love it.
it was very cool. She definitely was the gateway into me loving music. Always had oldies radio on in her truck, her pickup. But yeah, she got me. I had piano lessons, a couple of piano lessons when I was like 6, and I just kind of wasn't vibing.
Yeah.
So I took
it's like I feel like you can kind of find those stories in Utah. He's like, okay,
Yeah.
my mom plays piano at church or
Yeah.
whatever. She wants me to learn how to play
Right.
piano. I don't like it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was okay. I was down, but my teacher had really bad breath.
Oh man.
So I'm like 6, like I don't want to do this anymore.
She's yelling at me.
So I lived in California, growing up until I was 16.
Oh, okay.
And it was like like maybe 40-minute drive from home to this piano place. I was like, let's just do something I can do at home, a little easier. And so
At 6.
yeah,
You're saying that at 6.
So,
you're like,
took a
Mom,
couple
I
years."
need to take a hold of my schedule.
yes, like I don't have time to do this. We can't go to Thousand Oaks every week. What are we talking about?
Mom, the gas alone's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And
You
that
know how
big
the
that
traffic we have to
pickup
sit
truck
in
you have?
California? Are you kidding me? That's so funny.
But I eventually jumped into trumpet. I think I was a little
She
older,
also
like
taught
7
you
or
that
8.
too?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
weird that she didn't teach you piano.
Yeah, I
she knew.
feel like she was really good at like introducing me to things, but didn't want to be too like heavy-handed. Because even with trumpet, like give me the basis and I just mess around with it, see what came more naturally to me, and that made more sense. There's only 3 buttons, and like I don't know,
It makes a
You
cool
know,
sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
just
It's
learn a
little bit
couple of
portable.
scales. Yeah. So I did that for several years, and then I got a little bored and did trombone for a year, and then went back to trumpet, and then hit my like almost teenage era where I was like, I don't want to play music. I just want to literally want to be in Jackass. Like I was like so into Viva La Bam. Like I started skateboarding.
It's so funny that I bring all this, but it's cool though because it correlates with like you guys, Sunsleeper. You have skateboards,
Yes.
and you guys have like in the music videos and different things. So
Dude, we always try and make everything like a little extra personal for us,
Yeah,
just because like at the
why
end of
not?
the day we're making it
yeah,
for us, you know,
exactly.
and represent us.
But it makes it more. It's more. It like. I don't know how, like, for lack of better terms, it just makes it more fun to watch.
Yes,
I don't-
100%.
You know what I mean? It's like more interesting,
Yeah.
especially like, oh no, this is them. It's not just someone else wrote this and
Right.
is taking care of it.
We're not
No,
like
we're-
doing things because
Yeah.
it's trendy
Exactly,
or cool. It's
right.
like we're
Yes.
always going to be true to ourselves, and what we're interested in varies. So you'll see different elements of us come out, obviously. But yeah, skateboarding has always been a big part of my life. Again, being homeschooled, I was kind of like very isolated. I'm an only
Right.
child and homeschooled until I was 16.
So you're like, I need
So
some friends.
Skateboarding
Yeah,
got me out.
Yeah.
And, like created this more rebellious counterculture community that I got to be a part of. And I don't know, it taught me a lot, and it was a very pivotal part of my life. And I think it kind of opened the door for me being able to assimilate into like DIY music culture and, like finding those outcasts or whatever, like a different alternate community that maybe, the mainstream wouldn't present in front of you as a life option,
Yeah. And especially back then, that was like, I feel
yeah.
like it's hype. Like, it was so cool. Like, everybody skateboarded.
Oh,
They
yeah.
had Velo Band making funny
Dude,
videos.
I
and-
love
So did you do that
CKY
kind of
video.
stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I have lots of old videos just rolling down hills and like just eating, absolute crap and just, I don't know, hurting myself too much. Like
Biting into
dude,
onions.
like I saw this massive scar.
Yeah, we
just,
all
like-
have them. Yeah, I actually just got one covered up with the tattoo. Yeah, same thing
Nice.
from skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yep.
I broke my ankle skateboarding. I have metal in my ankle to this day.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So at that point in your life, you're like, let's just go with the
Yeah.
skateboarding thing. I want to be a professional skateboarder. Do
So
that.
I got really into that and realized that I didn't have a natural affinity for it.
Yeah. You're like, actually, this is really hard.
It is so hard. And so I kind of find something I was good at in that niche, which was video filming. I used to film my friends and make skate videos, and through that, like, part of making a good skate video is having good songs and being able to, like, you know, like, position the clips in
make it
time with
look
the
all
sound,
nice.
right?
Wow.
And-
So you were doing that at 16 or whatever? Like editing film?
14 through 17, I did it quite a bit.
This is like the point and shoot era too. It's not like cameras are nice.
Yeah.
Camcorders. Was it a
Eventually-
camcorder or was it a point and shoot?
So it was like a mini DV camcorder at first, and then saved some money and finagled
You
my
got something
parents. I
nice.
got a VX 2100,
Oh,
like
wow.
one of those, like, hold it from here.
Yeah, so you could actually skate along. And, yeah.
So I became like the
Everyone
go-to.
wanted to be your friend.
Yes, exactly.
That's the real move.
Dude, I was bad at skating, so I'm like, all right. Like, I think the coolest thing I ever did was like ollie like a 10 stair maybe max.
That is
you
pretty
know?
cool.
But like trick wise, like, nah, dude, I could barely do rails.
Are these
like-
videos still on YouTube?
I think there's a couple of my montages. Most of the
Okay.
montages I'm not in because I'm making them, but yeah, I think you could find them.
I suggest you take one of those and then just grab a Sunsleeper song.
True. I could honestly make a like
preferably one
make
with
one.
it. You're in it.
yeah.
I think that would be tight.
I usually put my bales in it because it was funnier. I just watch myself eat crap.
Dude, I think that would be a cool.
That's a good idea.
It doesn't have it just like another song that didn't have a music video
Right.
you don't plan on. You're like, here's a visualizer. Like that's cool.
like old school.
Yeah.
That
Even if it's just for yourself.
honestly, that's
But
a
everyone
smart
hold
idea.
him to it. Where's the music video?
Magic trick.
Dude, magic.
Magic trick. Magic trick.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go to a show and yell that.
You got to
He's like, what the fuck?
yell it at Nate next time you see him and see what he does.
I'm gonna show up with an onion.
Dude, if you walked up to Dom and handed him an onion and said, "Bite this," he'd just walk away, dude. He'd be so
He's like, who is this kid?
how do you know?
How do you know? I know.
I know it all.
I know. So going from like skateboarding, when are you like guitar? Let's go guitar.
So kind of out of nowhere, we had to leave California, fiscal purposes, my parents.
Right.
And so moved to Lehigh and had no friends, stayed homeschooled for a year. So we like transplanted somewhere I knew no one, you know, and then just was at home by myself. So
Formative years.
yes, try and make skate videos, but you can only do so much with like me by myself on the driveway kind of vibe. So started branching out, and I had a guitar laying around, and then I got really into Guitar Hero.
Like acoustic guitar.
Yeah, acoustic.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. Yeah, that changed all
Dude,
of our lives,
that
didn't it? Yeah, it was so
literally
much fun.
changed my life. I got so good at it, and then I'm like, I need a new challenge. So I started playing the real guitar. And then eventually I convinced my parents. I was like, I need to make friends. So put me in actual like public school, please. So my junior year, it was my first public school year.
Oh, wow.
And met a couple of other like out-of-state transplants. Kind of made this ragtag group of people. Like Trevor was from Oregon, Brad was from California. Like it was just a bunch of random.
They could relate to what you're
Yeah.
going through.
And-
Did you take guitar lessons in school?
No, just Trevor could play a couple of chords, and I had been already dicking around with it. So he and I just started playing like brand new covers, Dashboard Confessional covers.
So that's like
Yeah.
that's where the seeds come, and
Yeah.
then that's where you start. You're like, let's start a band.
Exactly. It was huge shout out, Trevor. I was a LimeWire kid, so I already had like brand new and all that stuff. So I was just collecting MP3s, but I wasn't like diving in.
My mind just flashed back to the
Dude.
when you're playing the MP3 and it has that like you know what I'm talking about, right? Yep. Oh, the younger kids are. What the fuck are you saying? But yeah, when you play the MP3, it had that like visualizer
Yep.
that would go. Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
that meme that says like,
LimeWire. Dude, I
all
got
the
yelled at.
while-
Yeah, we all getting viruses on the
yeah.
family
yes,
computer.
exactly. Oh, I think the first virus my dad's computer ever had was me trying to download William Hung songs from like American Idol when I was like 12.
What the
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You literally destroyed a family computer for like free William Hung songs.
There were so many songs that like the download that I had skipped in certain spots, and I just thought that's how the song went.
Yeah.
So when I heard like the actual version on a CD, I was like, what? This sounds so weird. Like,
Right?
why does this?
Or you get like a
thinking about
burnt
that.
radio version
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, just Napster.
With like the DJ
Yeah.
yelling in the front,
Yep.
and then when you hear the
Yep.
actual version, you're like, where's the, you know, like radio killers.
Hard 97 hard rock,
Rock,
dudes.
rock.
Fucking listen to hard rock music. Hard rock.
Yeah, like, I'm like, where is that? Like, I'm ready to sing along to the DJ call, and then it's like, what? It's not on this Akon track anymore.
So that kind of brought. So then when that band started, that's what kind of brought you into like playing the Salt Lake. And,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Through that, Trevor and I got
So what was your first electric guitar then? Because you have all these cool like Fender Jags and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what was your first electric?
The one I count is the one I still play. I only
Really?
have one electric, and I've only had one electric that I play.
And you're throwing it at the drums.
Yeah.
Or I
And
guess, yeah.
It's
you know
got
what I mean.
chips in it, you know.
It's got character, for sure.
I like it.
I feel that way about your awesome amp too. You're like, oh, this
Yeah.
has been on the road.
Oh yeah.
You can tell when a band's a road
Yeah.
band. You can tell.
I'm like, I'll try and protect the head. I got a head case recently, but like the cab, I'm like, I like the little
It's just
blemishes.
speaker. Yeah, no, it's cool though. Yeah, it's got. I mean, it's the naturally relic. It's like no, these are memories. Yeah, these are the onions.
Pulling. Yes, exactly. these are my onions.
I'm sorry, man. That's what we're gonna be making the joke the entire time.
Oh man.
Jeffrey, the Magic Man,
Master magician.
Master Magician Jeffrey.
Oh man.
Oh man, stupid.
Those are the tour jokes.
Yeah,
They're just ridiculous.
That's what's the key. You gotta find yourself in it. It's the best.
It
It's
is.
Yeah, it's great. So what studio? Because obviously on the inner sleeve of the LP2, you got the like pictures of you guys in the studio. What studio was that, and how did that work out for that?
So that's Barbershop Studios in New Jersey.
Okay.
We, via the label, we're talking to different producers just to switch things up.
Did you have like a list of who you might want to work with or places
Kinda,
you might
yeah.
want to go?
After the person that we were communicating with at the label, who eventually wasn't a part of the label, but kind of was the one putting pressure on us to work with someone new, which we weren't intending to, but
Right.
that's a whole different story.
Yeah,
but,
that's how it goes, though.
Yeah, through that person, they made it clear we want you to work with someone new. So start thinking about who you want to work with, and so we just start looking at like favorite producer, like albums that we love, and just we're like, if we're gonna work with someone other than Nate, let's like make it like a big step, like something super exciting for us. And on that list was Brett Romes. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, from I Am the Avalanche, the movie Life, Crime and Stereo. He's in those bands. And he lives in Long Island, I believe, but he works out of New Jersey at Barbershop Studios. It's this old church that they transformed into a studio.
That's
so
tight.
there's huge, sheets of glass, like painted
The stained
glass.
glasses.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because you kind of see like there's like a picture of Jacob tracking, and you can kind of see some
Dude, it was gorgeous.
That's
and like
cool.
the live room, same thing, like massive.
like a chapel.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that's
was-
cool.
I think before that.
Oh, it's too bad you don't have like a full band shot from that.
I know. I think we had a couple, but we brought a photographer with us, and I don't think I ended up getting all of the shots because we took some like end of recording photos that I've never seen. I'd love to find those, but yeah, it was just the most beautiful,
It sounds
weird,
dope.
serene. Like there's a lake right outside, like ducks. Like it was just. We stayed at an Airbnb like down the street, and it was another lake.
So would you walk to the studio in the morning?
We drive, but
Okay.
it was like maybe a 5-minute drive.
So you didn't fly out there; you drove out
We
there.
drove,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool though. It sounds
Yeah.
like a really nice place to create music.
Oh,
so
it
you were
was
there for like
awesome.
3 weeks.
Another
or?
3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was so cool.
Yeah, that's always the best too when you can be immersed in it. You're in a different location, so then you're like, I'm here to think about this and this only. Just
Exactly.
into the music.
It was so cool. And like, just again, we kind of try and do things for ourselves and like little bucket list things. And Brett engineers a lot with Mike Sapone, and Mike Sapone did like all the brand new records. And so we're kind of like picking at him for stories and things. And apparently they recorded vocals for Science Fiction at that
studio.
Barbershop, and vocal production. And Brett had some funny stories like.
So you're just like the kid. You're like every now and then, like,
yes.
hey man,
Yo, like, what's that over
do you want to
there?
like? Yeah, you're trying to be coy about it.
What
Like,
pedals did
like-
you know?
like where exactly did he do the vocals?
Yep.
Yeah, like, can I stand there?
Yeah. Is this a better spot? What did Jesse do? Yeah. I was.
I
geeking
love
out.
it
I was
though. That's what
geeking.
it's about.
It
Though. That's
is.
like what makes it fun,
It was so fun, and like he's done so many good records. Like he
including yours.
Thank you. He worked on the Heart Attack Man stuff. He's done McCafferty. He's done just so many cool like new bands that I don't know are influences to us. Or like bands we'd love to be friends with, and just hearing about some of their creative processes was cool. And on top of that, his tour stories were just nuts. Dude's
Yeah,
been
we need to
touring
get
for
him
like
on.
20 years, dude.
Yeah,
like
they've been
or
through it.
more, talking about like playing festivals and like watching Marilyn Manson side stage and like just wild things, ICP stories, like iced tea stories, like just wild. But
So just to kind of wrap up here,
Yeah.
obviously you got the new album out. Are you got any like tours planned, any other new music kind of in the works or anything else to like
Yeah.
kind of announce?
so we're always writing, but as far as things coming up, I think next week we're announcing we're doing a little run with a band called Smoke Detector. In June we're doing, I think, a couple weeks, which will be cool. And then we're working on another run I think we're doing the West with Smoke Detector, and then we're working on an East thing for October. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Do you know, can you announce who for October yet? Or no?
I think it's mostly us. There's a festival out in the Midwest that we're going to.
And you got Kilby Block Party coming up as well. That's
yes.
amazing. You get to play with the Strokes and all
Crazy.
those dudes.
Yeah, we're playing the same stage as Alex G, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah.
And then the Strokes are headlining that day. We're playing.
Yeah, that's so sick.
They are my favorite band.
Yeah. Just another one of your boxes ticked for you.
Insane. Like,
Yeah.
Sunsleeper played a festival in San Francisco, shared a flyer with Albert Hammond Jr. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know? But now I'm like, yo, I'm with the Strokes flyer now.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
and then also in like your hometown too, where you can have all the homies come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for coming on. It was an
course.
absolute pleasure talking with you again.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for listening. We'll check you next time.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to You Guys Shred.